Hello, welcome to FM Corner. I'm Danny Koontz, your host. Today's episode, we're going to talk about customer communication a little bit more. Spoke about it last week, talk a little bit more about it this week. Using active listening in customer communication. These things you can do to help when you're having a conversation with a customer. First, show the customer you're listening. If you're sitting across the table from that customer, show them with your actions that you're listening. Take down notes, look them in the eye, shake your head when you agree, anything like that. If you're on a call, make sure that person can see you and see your interaction back and forth if it's like a Zoom call with them. If you're not live with them, show them by making sure you take notes that you can come back to at some point in time and ask them so the customer knows you took notes. Find a valuable message in everything they say. The more you communicate, the more you talk to them, the more they're probably going to start to open up for you. Look for that information to get something valuable out of everything they said. Like, if that customer says, this is the third time in 2 months your company has made this mistake. Yes, ma'am. Find the problem, fix the problem. Call them back at the end of the month and ask them if they've had any more issues. That shows you heard what they said. They had spoke about having 3 issues this month. You followed up and you wanted to make sure that they didn't have any more issues. Third, wait before responding. When a customer is telling you their story of what happened, and sometimes it takes a while, do everything you can to wait before you give them a response. Now, it's okay if the person says, I think we're out $500, about $500. If you need to stop right there and say, wait, I want to make sure I heard you. Your product is out $500, your labor, is it product and labor together? What makes up this $500? Before you move forward, I want to make sure I have the answer to that question. That's okay. But don't just respond to start telling them your answer to all their questions without listening to the story. Paraphrase to show the customer you understand. Something they've said, say it back and paraphrase it. You've stated this hasn't worked since you opened? You've been open for 6 months, right? It's been down for 6 months. I just want to make sure I heard that right. So you paraphrase and change the wording a little bit, but you're still asking a question. And then fifth, don't use words or phrases the customer doesn't understand. If you're a vendor like for my company and you're going to see a customer, do all you can to size up your customer. What's their knowledge skill of the service trade business? Try to make judgment on that and start with the easier answer. If the person says, I used to be in facilities or I used to work for a service company, well, okay, well then you got a much better understanding. I can go into more detail and depth with you. But if they're not, don't put a lot of words in or stuff like that. I was in facilities for years, and I can remember one of the very first things I learned, listening to a restaurant manager talking about 86 something. I had no idea what that meant. Everybody that worked in every restaurant in the world understood it, and I didn't. I had to figure that out. You know, we don't have any more of it. You're 86ing it off the menu. But I didn't know what that meant. So as they would try to explain to me, I've got a problem with my cooler, that means I have to 86 some things. I didn't know what that meant. Once I understood, I had a much better understanding of what they were telling me and what I needed to help them with. So try to size up what your customer knows and then speak to them at that level. 4 words never use with a customer. Always. We always do this. We always get a signature. No, we don't. No, we don't. Don't say it. Don't say always. It'd be like if I'm talking to a customer in a restaurant and they say, we never cook a meal wrong. Sure you do. It happens. So don't say always. Don't say never. We've never made that mistake before. Odds are you have. Odds are you will again. Don't say never. Don't say always. Nobody's perfect. Don't address the situation with, I'm working on your problem. I'm working on your opportunity. I'm working on the issue at hand, not the word problem. Problem sounds like I may not get it fixed. You never want a customer to hear that. And the last one is but. But that means you're not hearing them. And you're already trying to give them a different answer. But the way to do that is, I think there might be another way to look at this situation. See if this makes sense for you. I didn't say but, I said I think there may be another opportunity. 4 words you never use. Always, never, problem, or but. And last, is the customer angry or are they upset? There's a difference. They might be angry because you're late to show up for the service call that you have today. Or you're supposed to go see a restaurant as a facility manager on a trip and you end up a couple hours late because you got tied up in another location. Yeah, they're a little angry, but they're probably going to calm down once you get there. Upset means you didn't show up at all. So you're supposed to be there on Tuesday and you didn't show and you didn't call. Now they're upset. Now they're mad at a whole situation. Angry is fixable. Upset, a little harder. You got to work harder. But usually, if you catch it early, you'll catch people when they're angry and you have a chance to fix that. Once you let it get too upset, you got a much, much bigger hill to climb. That's our episode of today of Using Active Listening. Hope you join us next week for another episode of FM Corner. Thank you.